as a productivity consultant, I help my clients maximize what I personally think are your 3 most valuable resources. What do you think are your 3 most valuable resources in your business? I give you one hint, it starts with a T. Any guesses? Nice, awesome. Time, talent, and technology. Time, hands down, most valuable resource. You use it, you lose it. I would argue at this day and age that time is more valuable than money. Would anybody agree with me? Starting to feel that way. Technology is one of the most underutilized resources. Companies just barely scratch the surface of leveraging technology. But when you maximize your time, you maximize your technology, then you get all this time back in your day, and then and only then can you truly maximize the talent in your organization. If you don't believe me, I'm going to share a statistic from the Wall Street Journal. They have a little bit of street cred. So the Wall Street Journal says office workers, so all of us, are wasting about half our workday because we weren't taught organizing skills to deal with the demands of today's environment. I believe organization is a founding principle of productivity. So it's about organizing your time, organizing your task, your priorities, lots of opportunity there. I am not sharing this statistic with you to make you feel bad. Many people feel very defeated when it comes to the overflowing inbox, the never-ending to-do list. I want you to flip this on its head, and I want you to look at it from an opportunity standpoint. There's a 40% chance of improvement. We've gotten many people to a 40% bump in productivity. It's honestly not that hard, especially when you leverage tech. So when my kids were little, they said, "Mom, what's your superpower?" And I was like, that one's easy, right? I'm like, it's detecting waste. Now, needless to say, they were like, boo, like super boring, right? They were hoping I had like X-ray vision or I could kick down buildings or something much more fun. And there's no way at that age they had any idea why detecting waste could be a superpower. Now they're teenagers, they're in college studying business, starting to understand what I do for a living. And if you ask them today, what is your mom's superpower? They'd roll their teenage eyes and say it's detecting waste, right? And they would beg you not to get me started because apparently I'm a tinge bit annoying, slightly impatient, not so fun to hang out with. So tell you what they have to deal with. So we were down in Florida and we'd heard about a really good ice cream parlor and we were super excited. So we get in the car and we're pulling up to the parking lot and there's this crazy long line. We're like, what is going on here? And so a lot of cars just kept going and we thought about it, but we thought, nah, it's ice cream. This will go fast, right? So we park and we get in line and we're waiting. And we're waiting. And little by little, whole families of 5 to 6 customers are leaving this line and going to this ice cream parlor that was across the street. It was pitch black. It was horrible marketing. And I thought, bummer for that business, but good for that business. And that actually happened 2 more times. And so I'm like, what is going on, right? We finally get into the ice cream parlor, and there's this crazy long counter. And apparently all the ice cream everybody wants is down in this freezer here. And there's a teenage boy that's scooping a scoop of ice cream on the cone and walking to the other end of the counter to rinse his scooper in a bucket of water. So I'm looking at a couple smiles, like you've got the same superpower, right? Like it's awesome, right? You're like, move the stupid bucket, right? Or put multiple buckets along the way. Because every additional step that kid takes is adding transaction time to service each customer. You move the bucket, the line's gonna go faster. You're not gonna have whole families leaving your line. You're not gonna have cars driving by. Lots of opportunity for improvement there. So how many of you have heard of Lean Six Sigma? Is that a familiar term? Most of us know of Lean Six Sigma is in the manufacturing environment. So Lean Six Sigma is about really one aspect of it is streamlining workflow, removing kinks, getting things to run smoothly, eliminating wasted time. So we always say we do Lean Six Sigma for knowledge workers, for office workers. That's what we're about. All right, why do you care about this? Why do you care what the heck Jan's superpower is and what she does for a living? I can tell you where you have waste in your organization. And I can tell you exactly what you need to do to eliminate that wasted time. Are you curious to learn a little bit more? You want me to keep going? Yeah, yes, Lucy, yeah, that was awesome, thank you. So here's the deal, I believe most people are just busy, they're not really productive. You have that person in the office that walks around like, I'm in back-to-back meetings, I'm like super busy or super productive. You're like, no, that's dumb, right? White space on your calendar actually drives productivity, not the opposite. So 2 simple tips. First thing, in our very limited time, we have to follow the Pareto principle. We have to be very discerning about where our time is spent. Does anybody remember what the Pareto principle is? Shout it. Yeah, awesome, 80-20 rule. So we need to think about what are 20% of the tasks we should focus on that are gonna give us that 80% return on that limited time. Second tip, realize that when you are responding to someone else's email, text message, whatever it is, you're typically helping them be productive. You're not doing your most important work, and that's an issue. My personal opinion is that we're all a little selfish right now, and I'm gonna add myself in the mix. Everybody is feeling completely overwhelmed with a never-ending to-do list. And we just don't stop and think about the ripple effect we cause when we're trying to get things off our to-do list as fast as we can, or we're interrupting other people and shifting people's priorities. I'll give you an example. Let's say that you are deep in thought, you finally have time in your calendar to work on your most important project, and you're sitting down and you're wrapping your head around it, and your colleague emails you for the second time, even though they know you're working on your most important thing, and you hear the ping, and you look at the question and you think, yeah, what did we decide to do on that project? And you don't even respond to the email, but the fact that you were interrupted mid-thought, shifted gears, went over here, your brain shifted, and now you're back. How much time on average do you think you lose when you have to backtrack and figure out where you were? Any guesses?
23 minutes.
Oh, you stink, Curtis. Darn it. Curtis knows. Nice job. 23 minutes. There's lots of different studies on it. Curtis and I apparently read the same statistics. So on average, it's about 23 minutes. Think about that. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 back all day long. And here's the question for you. How many times a day do you get interrupted? Do the math on that one, times 23 minutes. So I am a huge fan of technology. I wish we had a lot more time today and I could talk about tech and how to streamline your workflow and all the great possibilities. But I will tell you, technology is extremely disruptive. One of my favorite tips to tell people, and often they say, Jan, thanks for giving me permission to do that, is turn off all your notifications. Turn them off. The only notification that makes sense to pop up in your face is a meeting notification that says you have a meeting in 15 minutes, wrap up what you're doing. Otherwise, you know when you come up for breath and you're looking at what's going on in the world, that's the perfect time to check and see what's going on in email. We call that interruptions on your terms. So I worked with a client on the 3 T's. Anybody remember the 3 T's? Nice, love it, time, talent, and technology. We worked with a coach, I coached a client on the 3 T's, and he has 2.5 more hours back in his day. I'm gonna repeat that. He has 2.5 more hours back in his day. And that's not even the best part. He has sustained it for 9 years. So here's my question for you. What would be the impact to your productivity and your stress reduction if you had 2.5 more hours in your day? That's only a 30% bump. The Wall Street Journal tells you 40% is possible. Thank you.